Alright, hello everyone and welcome to round number 2 of our new player tournament. This time around we have Stonberg once again, along with Tumahai, Vaempryess, and ReggaeGandalf. And of course, once again, King Morgan, excuse me, will be joining us. Can't words. I've had both of you cast with me now. It's just like, you know.
Nah.
I can't words. I do apologize though. This map looks awful.
It doesn't look dreadful. Not as bad as some.
It's not as bad as some, but where is that? Okay, there's a nice iron patch in the southwest corner, so that's potentially usable.
It's, I mean, glass being so high, and it's going to be a glass colony as well.
Yeah, I definitely like. Nobody actually took the patch that I was kind of looking at this game, though. Interesting, which was that western patch of iron up there.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad.
And everybody did get down pretty close together this game. I don't know who actually... Let's see. Tumahai, Stonberg, then Vaempryess, then ReggaeGandalf. But nobody really near the silicon, despite the obviously valuable glass.
Yeah, I'd like to be near the silicon, but it's not a million miles away. Vaempryess takes... Well, I suppose HQ level 2, so taking some silicon. It's probably the nearest silicon, isn't it? Everybody else is going to have to go fair way out for it.
Yeah, a little bit further away. So I like this move from Vaempryess. Just going ahead, and she's got a little bit of aluminum there. Not a huge amount, but some, enough that's usable. But then easily moving into these glass kilns with the quarries is definitely going to be useful. My big concern is this split between water and silicon. Because it's resulted in just one glass kiln. And this is something that you'll see a lot of players do, but you got to be careful about is whenever you're going for that secondary resource, I think you need to commit into it completely so that you've got those adjacency bonuses. You can't go for like this double primary so that you've only got one secondary building.
No, definitely not. I mean, one single buildings, you don't get the bonuses on it.
Exactly.
And
so I think this would be better off maybe without the water and just with silicon and then double glass kiln. That could have been something good, but...
Yeah, you got to go for one or the other. You can't have both, not at HQ level 2.
Now, we were talking about glass a lot, but food is also quite expensive, and ReggaeGandalf is moving into that already. Still has 2 claims left, so he could easily move into maybe even some additional water to support his medium, because he's just got the medium with a low potential adjacency, and end up on 2 farms, and could be in a pretty strong position from there, needing to buy up the glass, but with a strong secondary anyways. Just have to wait and see if he can push into those farms, because of course glass is so expensive.
Yeah, he is. Everybody's on ice, aren't they? So I wouldn't like to see him take any more water. At least once he gets that adjacent water.
Yeah,
be
okay, I think he can get the adjacent, but after that, I think you're right that gonna want to rely on the ice afterward, especially because there is pretty solid water on the other side of the map that these players are probably going to be using.
Yeah, but Tumahai's gone. No, not Tumahai. Stromberg's gone into 2 electronics factories, which still aren't running. I mean, that's. I know
always gotta watch out for that.
Yeah, I know they're high, but
they aren't going anywhere.
No, I suppose they're making some money, but it could be worse.
I mean, you do have a game with 2 scavengers, both of which have secured carbon. Not a huge amount of carbon, especially in the case of Vaempryess, who's working on a medium and a low. But you do have that carbon coming in. You've got aluminum coming in. You've got easy access to aluminum. Everybody's claimed a little silicon this game to try and get to glass, so maybe the electronics will be okay. But if we just compare them to the glass is making about twice as much, and the food also making about twice as much. So...
Yeah, you need to be in glass or food at the moment. Or power, and nobody is in power. Apart from ReggaeGandalf, who's got a geothermal on the way up. But that's slow. Power is going to spike, I think, very soon.
Yeah, Vaempryess, I think, is... They're not on any power, which is a little bit of a concern, but only 53,000 in debt. And looking to be in a position to push to HQ4 before too long. There it is, if they want to take it. And so that combined with this incoming dust storm could actually be very interesting.
Get some turbines down quick and your debt's paid off, at least.
Yeah.
But
they can even go adjacent to your headquarters here, easily being transitioned because they've got some cliffs here. It's not the best wind, but it's certainly acceptable during a dust storm. Strong and medium.
I mean, looking at the price of chemicals, I'd be very tempted to make a play for superconductor through a patent lab.
It's true.
I really would.
And that'll just kill power price instantly. Instead, though, we're seeing food come down, which I'm a little nervous about here because, I mean, I think this is... okay, I'm not a little nervous about this. I'm 100% certain that this was a terrible decision because power's price is high and that dust storm is coming in. Not only does that push you toward wind turbines, but it pushes you away from farms because, of course, farms only produce half as effectively during a dust storm.
Yeah, exactly. But it's going to keep the price of food high, at least. But, I mean, look at that. Making 0.41 food off 3 farms, which is not very good. Yeah, dreadful indeed.
And not only that, these reactors, they're costing a lot in the way of power, and I'm kind of concerned. We can see that everybody's kind of struggling this game except for ReggaeGandalf. ReggaeGandalf got into a wind turbine, so he's taking advantage of that dust storm. He has that geothermal plant down, paying off $700 of debt per second with power, almost to the point where he's making money off of it, whereas everybody else is in sea levels of debt and dropping.
Yeah, I mean, his debt was significantly lower than everybody else's.
It's true. But part of that was just from having moved into the food quickly early in the game and then taking that geotherm before other people, but still, though, effectively knocking it down.
Yeah, he's in a very position at the moment. He's not too far away from it. Well,
his upgrades are weak, is the concern here.
Yeah, but if he sells his food down, that'll support his glass purchases.
Exactly. He could sell food right now and get to that upgrade, which it looks like he will do.
Yeah. Vaempryess struggling, I think, at the moment.
Well, it's that D level of debt that's the concern, right? I mean, HQ5 is fantastic. Moving into a patent lab, that's great. $140,000 of debt, not great. Gaining $700, almost $800 of debt per second, not great.
No. And still, a solar panel will come out. Just one solar panel. And a patent lab. Okay, well...
This has to be superconductor.
I was just about to say, if it's anything but superconductor, good night. Serious trouble otherwise.
The patent lab is constructed.
Let's see now.
Let's get our science on.
What's it gonna be?
Pirates.
Come on, use your patent lab.
Ooh, pirates coming down.
Onto silicon, I'm guessing, yeah.
Yep, from ReggaeGandalf. So I definitely really like that play. Just stealing from, I believe, 2 players have silicon flying through that territory. Yep.
He's going into a 4th farm. A very oddly positioned 4th farm.
Yeah, that is a strange 4th farm, isn't it?
But who's got the cash? Stonberg in D levels a day. You see, this is the power price. This is... at this point, everybody was in D levels of debt except ReggaeGandalf, and ReggaeGandalf was the only one who actually got his power up in a decent amount of time.
And it's been making him a truly insane amount of money. I mean...
But he could... I mean, alright, he's a HQ level behind. Well, he's not, is he? He's mid-table.
I mean, he could upgrade. Or he could just try and buy Vaempryess. I don't know. I mean, he's got options here, right?
Well, yeah, but she's got 120k, though. She's got a lot of money.
She does have an awfully large amount of money, but that debt, it's just such a...
I mean, to be honest, she could buy ReggaeGandalf if she wanted to.
It's true. I mean, just both of these players, massive threats right now. ReggaeGandalf is choosing to defend himself, which...
I think he should have gone for it, really.
I mean, he could have gone for it. He could have gone for the upgrade. I don't really like the completely defending yourself option right now. I'm okay with buying a little bit of this stock here, but you don't need that much because you just have so much cash sitting around that you can still take that upgrade. And that's what I really want to see.
I mean, yeah, if he'd have been a bit more proactive, he could have bought one of them. I mean, he's going to make a run on Strongberg, but...
Well, Vaempryess is, yeah.
Oh, Vaempryess, yeah, sorry. ReggaeGandalf should be the one in the driving seat, really. He doesn't.
And I was just saying, in Stonberg, one thing to pay attention to is he's just been suffering all game. Could sell down this steel and defend himself. I'm really concerned that that's not going to happen, though, and it doesn't. Had the cash for the defense. Just had to sell the resources and make it happen, but nope. And this is just, I mean, this is all coming from, we talked about how the electronics were weak. And just never got upgraded.
Well, they were middling. They were average. Usually early electronics are not worth it.
Well, relatively speaking.
Relative.
Right.
Generally, they're never worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Generally, they never are.
They're a late game thing you want to move into, even though they were expensive and he would need to buy them to upgrade. He doesn't need that many of them.
No.
The black market is online.
For these three players, Stonberg, Tumahai and Vaempryess, they're in trouble because they didn't build any power.
Yeah, Vaempryess in particular, like, okay, they got the buy onto Stonberg, but Stonberg still back at HQ4, only just now hit it, not actually making any money off of that anytime soon, realistically. That is not going to be a money-making subsidiary. That is a stock-boosting subsidiary.
Yeah.
And despite that, stock price is still below $20 and falling by 5 cents a second right now.
Yes, indeed. Although, wow, a lot of water coming in. I mean, it's a nice move into the... Oh, it's moving out of them. Oh no, into one off-world market from Vaempryess. That's a bold move. Well, she's
Yeah,
in
that definitely is.
400k's worth of debt. Can't defend it.
Well, it is under a goon squad already. So, but
Well,
only one.
EMPs are cheap. Mutinies are cheap.
Yep.
I mean, she's
Did
lucky.
get a hold of that network virus, so
We have a
Yeah.
hard to come by land claim available to
EMP.
the highest bidder.
In a good... Well, in an okay
man, on the
position.
power too.
Did she tell me she sold out of her? Yeah, she did. She sold out of all her water. That's good.
Yeah, that's important,
Made good profit
especially
on
because
that
with
water.
water at $39. That's
Well, it was at
going into thinking machines.
200.
It was 200.
But she was making 22 water a second or something off those solar condensers.
Yeah, might have been a bit of an overcommitment, honestly, because now he's still got a ridiculous amount coming in. We'll need to see a transition out of these before long.
Yeah, there it is into... Still deciding what to move into. Potentially a second off-world.
Looks like some food coming down there, entirely reasonable, given that food's price is so ridiculously expensive. Now, this off-world play, I'm actually not sure about, because the best off-world launch right now is water, and it's only 32,000.
I wouldn't mind. That's not too bad.
It's not too bad.
But I prefer to get into food with some optimization labs. That would be
Exactly.
far more profitable. Let's have
I'm
a
also a
look.
little bit concerned about the fact that Superconductor never came out. Power is dropping, finally,
Pirates.
but a moment ago it was up at 200.
Wow. That would have been a very nice move. Get into a mid-game superconductor is always profitable. So long as power is high, of course.
It's true, and power stayed high for a long time this game. I want to just watch this debt tick. This is what I want to see.
It's going to be evil. It's going to be, what, 120k?
Yep, $121,000 of debt.
Well, at least she had financial instruments, so nobody else got to profit off that.
It's true. Can you imagine financial instruments? Oh man, that's what, $30,000 from financial instruments if you benefit from that tick.
I've had that a few times off newer players, and I rub my little hands together with glee.
Money.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. Money for nothing.
Yep.
ReggaeGandalf had so much potential, and he just hasn't seemed to manage to get a grip on it.
Well, I mean, he's still got that food production running, which is good, and he's committed into electronics and these reactors, and is working on Vaempryess now, which I think is the right move here.
Yeah, but he needs to support that with at least an optimization lab.
I am a little concerned we haven't yet seen a spy on this off-world market, actually. That's what I'm more concerned about. I'm okay foregoing the optimization center this game.
Open for business.
because you might be able to clean it up so fast that the optimization center doesn't actually do a whole lot, right? But if you're going to go that route, you need to be consistently aggressive against this off-world market, in particular with mutinies.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's definitely for new players. You must, if somebody's in D levels of debt with an off-world, you just hit it until you can mutiny it continually. And the thing is, Vaempryess is never coming out of that D levels of debt, so those off-world markets with mutinies so cheap are yours. If you want them, blast that goon squad and take it. I mean, it's...
Especially with spies available this game, which they are. Spies are currently only sitting at about 6k. ReggaeGandalf actually used them earlier in the game in order to seriously benefit off that power, taking away Stonberg's geotherm, which I think just didn't help Stonberg survive at all.
No, not at all. But
we need to see that continued use of this black market, especially out of our scavenger.
Oh yeah, that's a massive reason for going scavenger, so you get good access to a mutiny away a water pump. I can't agree with that at all. Oh, that's bad play.
Yeah, that is just a bit of a waste here. I mean, it's going to cost you fuel to ship, not that expensive, but you could have just saved that, just been patient, and gotten through these goons. It's important to threaten these players who go for these aggressive off-world markets.
Yeah, that off-world is there for the taking.
And water, of course, all that said, water's just not all that expensive. Now,
Well, it was $30 when he mutinied it.
yeah.
Tumahai is getting some upgrades. He was, until he stopped using his optimization center. Which,
Yeah, he's just got a few. He also has an off-world market going up right now next to the colony, so that kind of puts the clock on ReggaeGandalf pretty effectively. He does not want Vaempryess to manage to buy a subsidiary with an off-world market, especially considering Stonberg just continues to become more and more valuable bit by bit, up to about $67 per share right now.
that's not too bad.
Do you have it? You have it! Do it! ReggaeGandalf has the money. That's it, man.
Yeah, there we go. He's
That's
cleaned
what
up.
I was talking about with the optimization center. Like, you don't need to play the long game here. I think he could have been far more effective
The black market is online.
in use of the black market to take out Vaempryess, but that clearly that debt was so ridiculous it actually didn't matter all that much at the end of the day.
No. As soon as that 120k interest tick hits, it was all over. Unless you're on the verge of cleaning up, then yeah, you ain't going anywhere with it.
Yeah,
But-
and that's such a strong position for ReggaeGandalf to be in suddenly. He doesn't have the long-term tools of the off-world market or the optimization center, but I'm not sure he needs them.
I don't think he will at the moment. Vaempryess is going to be making him some really good money shortly.
Yeah, and he picked up an additional, like 17 stock off of that purchase, basically. 5 in Vaempryess, 5 in Tumahai, and then 7 in Stonberg that he didn't already have, that Vaempryess is holding on to. So that's such a massive boost in his own stock price, and it puts him in a position where his opponent is already effectively half dead.
Oh, he's pretty much untouchable just from that move by Vaempryess.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really a nice move out of ReggaeGandalf, just taking out that player who has all that stock, all that cash, but so much debt that they can't actually survive.
But then he went into power at the correct time, which paid off for him. He played
That
it
was
well.
what a lot of the game was about, wasn't it? Just
Oh yeah, that was a massive turning point, without a doubt. As soon as those other players hit D levels of debt and didn't manage to get out before the interest tick hits, it's just a question of time now.
But I also just like this commitment from ReggaeGandalf, where he, intentional or not, whatever the reasoning, whatever the logic, he went for the short-term plays of, I need to make money now. I don't want to make investments right now, because I want my investment to be killing my opponent. Which is entirely reasonable if you can pull it off, and far, far better most of the time if you can pull it off. and it's going to set you up. So not building the off-world market, not building the optimization center, not paying for the optimization center, all kinds of little things like that. Not building a patent lab or paying for that. Left him with enough leftover cash that he was able to make that very, very large investment that pretty much auto wins him the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he would have been able to pull that off if he'd gone into all these other little areas.
Well, yeah, I slightly disagree, because he could have slipped into an optimization center reasonably cheaply without massive opportunity cost, and he'd have had an extra 25% almost, even if he just did 25% on his food, 25% extra on his electronics, he'd have got there a little bit quicker.
I mean, maybe, but you are in the process of building that optimization center. You are losing basically 25% of the production of whatever building you're taking away, right? You're losing 1/4 of your buildings. So you're losing some adjacency, you're losing the whole building itself. And so you've really got to upgrade 2 things to 25% to even start to make it worthwhile. And then you still have to make up all that production time that you lost, all those resources you've committed into it. It takes a long time for the optimization center to truly pay off. And I don't know if this game went long enough where it would have mattered. Because the game effectively stops when he gets that purchase onto Vaempryess. And anything that happens after that is basically irrelevant.
You're right in what you say, but if he wants to move up a level, he's not going to be able to do this against decent players.
Well, no, but that's a different game, right? And so I do agree with you that against better players who aren't in so much debt, yes, you'll need to make those moves. But for this game...
Yeah, he did what was needed. And he didn't need to go for any advanced building whatsoever, because his opponents misplayed, but they didn't get power down at the correct time, and they hit D levels of debt and suffered for it massively.
It's true. Hey, experienced players do that kind of thing all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, but part of that is just because power is such a fine edge in those games when you have to be able to work out when everybody else is going to do it.
That's it.
And it can be very, very complicated in that level of game. But anyway, I think that was a strong win from ReggaeGandalf overall.
Yep, definitely. He was a solid player. Solid performance.
Vaempryess, though, strong opening moves out of Vaempryess. Knew exactly what to do. But then the HQ level 4 is really where it all just fell apart. Moving into those farms, which was a case of just not reacting to the actual game state. If those had been wind turbines instead, I think Vaempryess easily walks over everyone this game.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think you're right there. I think even HQ level 5 could have been pulled back if she got superconductor.
I think that's true too.
Maybe put down a couple of 3 solar panels maybe. Would have it wouldn't have been pretty, but would have pulled her out of trouble.
Could have pulled back, yeah.
Yeah, would have stopped that tick. That tick's what killed it. 120k's worth of debt. Bang. Dead. Ah, well. Good game all round.
Yeah, it was well played by ReggaeGandalf. Really good signs from Vaempryess. Stonberg just kind of falling apart there, and especially getting the geotherm taken away, that was going to be exceptionally painful. Just difficult position for him this game, with everybody else making so much money off glass and life support. And then Tumahai, he stuck around for a long time, but we never really focused on him all that much, just because...
Never really did much.
Never really did a whole lot that game, yeah. I think is what it comes down to. Was definitely present.
Mm-hmm.
But not much more than that, realistically. We weren't seeing a whole lot of black market. We weren't seeing that ridiculous level of money being made that we were seeing out of ReggaeGandalf and Vaempryess. And so while there, just not quite in a position to get much done. And I think because of that, became vulnerable to Vaempryess, who then wasn't able to actually finish it, and that just kind of led to the dominoes falling later in the game.
Yeah, definitely right. You got to watch your debts. Good. Not much more to say, I don't think.
No, I don't think there's too much more to